Baseball is back. Basketball is back. Things look a little bit different. Let's bring in Sinclair Political Commentator Ameshia Cross and member of the President's National Security Education Board, host of America First on Salem Radio, and Sinclair Media contributor Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Ameshia, I want to start with you. Standing for the national anthem now during the pregame for the NBA and baseball is now akin to what kneeling for the national anthem was in years past. Is it offensive, Ameshia, to stand for the national anthem?
I don't think that it's offensive at all. I also believe that people have their own personal choices when it comes to how they feel about the words in the anthem not necessarily matching up to the way this democracy looks for people of color specifically. Personally, I've always stood for the anthem, but I also have absolutely no problem with people kneeling or choosing not to stand, because I think that they are making a political statement, and we are, again, in a free country where we're allowed to do those things, and I don't think they should be castigated either.
And Sebastian, some of the players, a handful of basketball players who've stood for the national anthem and a baseball player or so have taken a lot of heat on social media for doing so. It just things have really changed in the course of 6 months.
It's pathetic. It's actually disgusting, Eric. When our brave men and women die overseas, keeping this nation safe, they come back home and their casket is shrouded in our flag. They die for what that flag represents. That flag doesn't have a color. It's not black. It's not white. That flag doesn't have a political party. It represents this nation. And if you want to make a political statement, fine, run for office, get on a soapbox somewhere, but you are there to entertain America and you're there to play a sport. Coach Ditka was right. You do that, you get benched. That's the way it should be. Some things are above politics. I think sports should be one of them. And look at ESPN, look at the ratings. They are tanking. The more political they get, the more the American people say, basta.
You know, Ameshia, listen, I think the ratings will play out over time. We'll take a look back and see if this was good for business or bad for business. It may not matter to a lot of these networks. I'll tell you that if there's social change that needs to happen, it's going to happen whether or not. I'll give you an example. Nike decided to back Colin Kaepernick, and they did, and it was very good for them for a very short period of time. Now they're laying off several thousand people in their headquarters. So at what point do these businesses say, okay, now I have to look at the bottom line. After all, they do answer to their shareholders, not to the social media crowd?
Well, Nike's situation, and it's interesting you brought it up, is more of a reflection of what's happening economically across the board because of COVID-19, not a reflection of there being an anti-protest movement that's going on and that affecting Nike as a whole. I think that, you know, businesses, obviously their shareholders are their first priority, but beyond that, when you have such a large market share of people who are largely from urban centers, who are largely, you know, we're talking about football and basketball, over 70% of the players happen to be African-American males. So when you're looking at those numbers, and those are the people who are by and large willing to put their names and their careers on the line in many cases in taking a stance, I think that says something that an organization has to listen to.
Yeah, I'll get to you, Sebastian, 1 second. Yes, true that on some of these sports leagues, there is a majority of African-American players, but not viewers, Ameshia. I mean, the viewership is still widely, let's be honest, it's widely white. Look, here's the reason why I ask this. I'm a financial, I'll call it a purist. I really don't care about color. I care about the bottom line, and that may sound callous and cold, but for businesses, I hate boycotts. You know, it just drives me crazy, especially when it's going to be boycott. Don't boycott the NBA or the NFL because they have Black Lives Matter on the field or on the court. I don't care. Watch it if you like it. Don't watch it if you don't, but don't boycott for social. Conservatives are falling, or people on the right who are against Black Lives Matter change are falling into the same trap that the other side that fell into on the way into this social change. So, Ameshia, shouldn't it be about the viewership and about the dollar and not about the social change?
I think it has to be about both. because you can't have a majority of your players be a member of a group that is continually feeling as though they are being treated as third-class citizens and expect that those individuals not stand up. They are still individuals. They are still Americans. They are still people who have a voice. And I think that it's high time that they do actually speak up and speak out, because for the longest, they felt like they've had to keep their mouths shut and just play. These are men. Aside from the entertainment value they provide with their NFL or NBA exploits, they're also going home to communities that, you know, for generations have been castigated and have been treated very badly by American citizens.
All right.
And I think that, you know, they are voicing the exact action that they want to see happen now that they have the platform to do so.
Sebastian, you got 30 seconds, all yours.
Again, Ameshia's in an alternate universe. They're not going home to communities that have been castigated. They're going home to their gated communities. These are millionaire players. And there's nothing brave about taking a knee. You're actually a coward if you take a knee, because you are giving in to the extortion of BLM. The bravery today is from those sportsmen and women who stand for our flag. These are snowflakes who are giving in to the SJWs. They are cowards, plain and simple.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Sebastian Gorka, Ameshia Cross, always heated debate. Thank you.